Patriots are aware of the accusations that have been made regarding Stefon Diggs. Stefon has informed the organization that he categorically denies the allegations. We support Stefon. We will continue to gather information and will cooperate fully with the appropriate authorities and the NFL as necessary, out of respect for all of the parties involved. And given that this is an ongoing legal matter, we will have no further comment at this time.
Something is clearly off here. You've got a player accused of violence against a woman, and the NFL team comes out immediately saying they support him. That alone raises eyebrows, because when have teams ever led with support in situations like this? Usually, organizations play it safe. They stay quiet, say they're reviewing the facts, or wait until the courts sort things out. Jumping ahead of the process and publicly backing someone before anything is resolved feels reckless. Either accountability doesn't carry the same weight anymore, or someone is chasing wins so badly they're willing to ignore the optics. I've said this before, there has been strange energy surrounding Stefon Diggs for a while now. I always figured whatever was bubbling under the surface would come out eventually, just not this fast. When people move through life without consequences, they start believing nothing can touch them. That's when the mindset shifts. Money, status, and fame start creating this illusion of invincibility. They convince themselves the rules are for everybody else, not them. That thinking doesn't come from reality, but it shows up a lot when nobody steps in to draw a line. While most people were getting ready to celebrate the new year, news out of Boston dropped the day before New Year's Eve and put Stefon Diggs right under the microscope. This wasn't a headline anyone would want, especially when it all unfolded in a single day. What made it even heavier was that the same day brought bad news involving his brother, Trayvon Diggs, the Cowboys' standout cornerback. It was another reminder that nothing in the NFL is ever as stable as it looks from the outside. Not long ago, Trayvon signed a massive deal valued around $97 million, with incentives pushing it past $100 million. On paper, that looks untouchable. In reality, it shows how fast things can change in this league, no matter how big the numbers look. That contract didn't age well at all. Between the torn ACL in 2023 and more injury problems piling up through 2024 and 2025, the situation kept getting worse. All of it ended with him getting cut just 2 days before the new year. The way the Dallas Cowboys handle business really needs to be studied. People always talk about leaving the old mess behind and cutting off anything that no longer serves them going into a new year. Dallas clearly took that mindset seriously. They cleaned house without hesitation and made it clear they were ready to move on, no matter how big the name or contract once was.
Patriots star Stefon Diggs is facing serious criminal charges. We have just obtained paperwork from Dedham District Court indicating that the wide receiver is charged with felony strangulation or suffocation and misdemeanor assault and battery. This is stemming from an incident back on December 2nd. Diggs is scheduled to be arraigned on the charges in Dedham on January 23rd. That is just 2 days before the AFC Championship game. The wide receiver's attorneys were in court this morning for a hearing, and we are working to learn more about the incident that led to these charges. We did reach out to the Patriots for a statement. We have that for you here. It says the New England Patriots are aware of the accusations that have been made regarding Stefon Diggs. Stefon has informed the organization that he categorically denies the allegations. We support Stefon. We will continue to gather information and will cooperate fully with the appropriate authorities and the NFL as necessary, out of respect for all of the parties involved. And given that this is an ongoing legal matter, we will have no further comment at this time.
And the timing made everything even heavier. The same day Dallas announced they were done with Trayvon Diggs, news broke nearly 1,800 miles away in New England. His brother, Stefon Diggs, who had just come off a strong performance helping the New England Patriots, suddenly found himself trending for all the wrong reasons. Instead of football highlights, Stefon was now making headlines for off-the-field allegations. Reports say he was hit with 2 charges, 1 misdemeanor and 1 felony, tied to an alleged altercation involving his live-in chef. The situation reportedly escalated after a disagreement, and authorities are now involved. As with any case like this, these are allegations and still unfolding. What really got people talking was the living arrangement itself. According to reports, the chef began working for him over the summer and was expected to stay through the season. She was living at his property and using one of the bedrooms. That alone raised questions once details started coming out. Things allegedly shifted in November. Around the same time, Cardi B, a married woman, gave birth to her fourth child, who was also reported to be Stefon's fourth child that year. Not long after, the chef was reportedly told to leave the house for a week. People online immediately flagged that move as odd, especially since she was still on payroll and living there. Then, just days after the birth, the chef was reportedly asked to leave the home altogether. That sequence of events is now being heavily scrutinized as the case continues to develop. She was told to take the week off, but here's the part people keep overlooking. According to her side, she didn't even have anywhere to stay in Massachusetts. From what's been reported, her only real reason for being in that state was her client, Stefon Diggs. So when he told her to leave for a week, she packed up, flew out of town, and stayed with a friend because he was allegedly expecting company and didn't want her around the house during that time. After the week passed, she came back and things seemed normal on the surface. Same house, same routine, same setup. But the energy shifted fast when it was time for her to get paid. That's when Stefon allegedly refused to pay her for that entire week. On top of that, he told her to leave the house altogether, like the agreement never existed. She pushed back. In her mind, that wasn't how payroll works. She says she was on a salary, not a day-to-day arrangement. Her job required her to live there and be available as his private chef, which meant she couldn't work for anyone else. She explained that if she had asked for time off, she would have understood not getting paid. But according to her, this wasn't her choice. He told her to leave. So from her perspective, that week was still paid time. She believed he owed her not only for those days, but for the rest of the season as well. And that's where things reportedly went left. This is the same man people were hyping up just months ago for signing a 3-year, $69 million deal. Yet now he's allegedly arguing over payroll like none of that matters. Text messages reportedly started flying back and forth while they were still under the same roof. She was demanding what she felt she earned. He was allegedly refusing and shifting the conversation toward getting rid of her instead of settling the issue. That only made things more tense. She kept pressing, saying he still owed her money for that week and the remainder of the season. On top of that, she allegedly tried to hold him to a promise of extra money he had mentioned before to help support her business. What started as a work dispute quickly turned into a full-blown conflict that would later have much bigger consequences. All of this was happening while she was still living in the house. According to her account, after a long stretch of arguing through text messages, raised voices, and non-stop tension, things escalated in person. She claims Stefon Diggs entered her room without knocking and without warning. She alleges he confronted her aggressively and that the situation quickly turned physical. The chef claims she was struck and restrained in a way that left her disoriented. She described being forced back onto the bed and said the encounter left her shaken and afraid. These are allegations being investigated, but they mark the breaking point for her. After that moment, she says she no longer felt safe staying in the house or continuing to work for him. She left the home and cut off the working relationship entirely. According to her, fear played a big role in what happened next. She says she was hesitant to go straight to the police and initially did not want to press charges. She allegedly didn't want to damage her own livelihood or draw attention to herself. Instead, she continued focusing on one thing: getting paid the money she believed she was still owed. At some point, she says Stefon directed her to the woman who handled his business affairs. That conversation reportedly changed the tone. The business representative allegedly acknowledged the outstanding pay, but told the chef she would only receive the money if she agreed to sign a document. That document, according to the chef, was meant to silence her and prevent her from speaking about what allegedly happened in that room. She refused. Her position was clear. She said she would not sign any agreement that stopped her from telling the truth about what she claimed happened to her. From her perspective, money was not worth giving up her voice or protecting someone she accused of putting hands on her. Things became even messier when she claims Stefon's girlfriend contacted her directly. According to the chef, the girlfriend attempted to insert herself into the situation, downplaying the seriousness of the allegations and trying to persuade her to move on. That outreach only added another layer of pressure to an already volatile situation. one that would soon move beyond private conversations and into the public eye.
Sports HQ, the Dallas Cowboys are waiving veteran cornerback Trayvon Diggs. That's the latest from our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. Diggs signed a 5-year extension with the Cowboys worth up to $97 million back in 2023, but has struggled on the field since. He appeared in 8 games this season with 0 interceptions and 25 tackles, has dealt with injuries. There was the knee and then the concussion, and it all culminates into Trayvon Diggs no longer being a Dallas Cowboy.
So now it's suddenly just let it go. And out of nowhere, they're offering money to make the whole situation disappear. That move alone raised serious red flags for a lot of people. Trying to quietly pay someone after everything that was alleged only made things look worse, not better. And sending a partner to step in and speak to another woman about alleged abuse was seen by many as a reckless decision. From the outside, it looked like someone who believed they could control the narrative because they'd gotten away with things before. The assumption seemed to be that the right voice at the right time could calm everything down. Instead, it only added fuel to public backlash and made the situation look poorly handled from every angle. People online immediately called out what they viewed as pressure tactics. Bringing a third party into a dispute like this, especially when serious accusations are involved, comes off as an attempt to influence someone's decision, rather than let the process play out fairly. That's why so many people labeled it a terrible judgment call. This also reopened conversations about past controversies involving Stefon Diggs. Critics were quick to point out that this wasn't the first time allegations about his behavior had surfaced. In previous situations, other claims circulated online, and some people felt patterns were being ignored instead of addressed. That's where Cardi B entered the conversation again. She had publicly defended him during earlier accusations, which led to renewed debate once this story broke. People online began questioning why certain allegations get dismissed while others spark outrage, depending on who's involved. The internet never forgets, and users started pulling up old clips, interviews, and statements, trying to connect dots and call out what they saw as double standards. Whether fair or not, once those comparisons started circulating, the narrative took on a life of its own. And that's how this situation shifted from a private dispute into a much bigger public discussion about accountability, influence, and who gets protected when serious allegations come into play. And now people are pointing out the irony of who she's connected to now, someone else facing similar kinds of accusations. Folks online keep saying people with the same kind of messy habits always seem to find each other, and this situation only fed that narrative even more. According to the chef, Stefon Diggs' girlfriend allegedly reached out to her directly, trying to pressure her into not moving forward with charges, hoping to smooth things over behind the scenes. That approach didn't work at all. The chef didn't back down, didn't fold, and decided to move forward with her case anyway, despite the alleged pressure coming from multiple directions. That alone made a lot of people stop and pay attention, because not everyone chooses that route when situations like this pop off. Now, to be clear and fair, Stefon is innocent until proven guilty. That matters and always will. But at the same time, people are noting that the woman pushing forward with criminal charges is doing the exact opposite of what critics usually call a money grab. In many cases, people skip criminal court altogether and rush straight into civil lawsuits looking for a payout. That's not what happened here. This accuser reportedly went directly to law enforcement and followed the criminal process instead of chasing a fast settlement. That decision alone has made some observers say she's coming off as more credible than usual in situations like this. Reports also say the incident happened weeks ago, but the details stayed quiet because Stefon's legal team allegedly tried to have the case sealed. The goal was reportedly to keep everything under wraps and handle it privately. According to court chatter, his lawyer asked the judge to close the case while discussing a possible quiet resolution. That plan clearly didn't stick. Now Stefon is expected to appear in court in the coming weeks to face the charges head-on. And that's why so many people are calling this whole situation a textbook case of self-sabotage. What's wild is how far this spiraled from where it allegedly started. All of this traces back to him asking the chef to leave the house because he was expecting company and didn't want her there at the same time. Based on the text exchanges that reportedly surfaced, people online are convinced lines were crossed long before things blew up. One decision turned into a chain reaction, and now it's snowballed into a legal mess that didn't have to go this far at all. At the core of all this, it really started with a simple work situation that never should have gone this far. She was his private chef, dedicated to him, living on site and fully on salary. He told her to leave the house for a week because he had company coming over. When she came back and payday hit, that's when the conflict exploded. From his side, the argument was, "You weren't here that week, so I'm not paying you." From her side, it was, "You told me to leave, I didn't request time off, and I'm still on salary." That disagreement alone should have stayed strictly in civil court as a contract dispute, nothing more. But instead of keeping it business, Stefon Diggs allegedly chose to engage, argue, and escalate the situation. People who followed his past controversies say this fits a pattern of reacting badly when he doesn't get his way. When emotions spike and pride gets bruised, things can spiral fast. This time, the accusations involve a woman, and that's why the story immediately blew up in Boston media circles. That shift alone changed everything. Once law enforcement became involved and criminal charges entered the picture, the narrative was no longer about payroll or contracts. Now you've got two high-profile names tied to yet another messy situation, and what was supposed to look like a clean, strategic relationship is instead being questioned from every angle. Instead of damage control, it turned into more scrutiny, more headlines, and more unanswered questions. What should have been handled quietly and professionally became a full-blown public disaster. One decision stacked on top of another, and now everyone involved is dealing with consequences that reach far beyond a simple paycheck disagreement. This whole situation is a loud reminder that money, fame, and big contracts don't protect anyone from consequences. One bad decision stacked on another can flip a private issue into a public disaster faster than anyone expects. What started as a basic work disagreement spiraled because emotions took control and pride blocked common sense. At the core, this never needed to leave the realm of paperwork and lawyers. A payroll dispute should have stayed professional and quiet. Instead, every move after that added more pressure, more exposure, and more damage. That's how self-sabotage works. It doesn't explode all at once. It builds step by step until there's no way to rewind. Now the spotlight is locked on Stefon Diggs, and not for anything related to football. When off-the-field drama starts competing with on-the-field performance, teams start paying attention in a different way. Sponsors get cautious, organizations protect themselves, and patience gets thin very quickly. The league has seen this pattern before, and it rarely ends well. What really stands out is how many warning signs were ignored along the way. The living arrangement blurred boundaries. The pay dispute created tension. The alleged pressure to stay quiet added fuel. Instead of de-escalating, everything kept getting pushed further until it crossed into a legal situation that no PR team can clean up easily. Now it's in the court system, and that's where narratives stop mattering. Innocent until proven guilty still applies, but once the legal process starts, it moves on its own schedule. Careers don't pause for court appearances, and public opinion doesn't wait for final rulings. This didn't come out of nowhere. It grew because boundaries weren't respected and because someone believed they could manage every outcome. Power mixed with ego is a dangerous combination, and this is what happens when no one steps back in time. So before you dip, make sure you smash that like button if you're riding with us, tap subscribe if you're a real one, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single messy update. Trust me, you're gonna want to be here for the next video.